Oh, gee whiz. How are you? It's 37 degrees in here, it's quite warm. You know when you're tidying up, and I'll use the kitchen as an example. So you open a cupboard and all the plastics fall out, your containers and Tupperware, this sort of thing. And you, after a while, it just annoys you so much, you think, you know what, blow it. I'm going to take everything out, throw out the things that don't have lids or whatever, stack it all up nicely, and so then next time you open the cupboard, nothing falls out. And then you get carried away and you think, oh, I'll do the cupboard next to it, and it's tidy, but it needs a wipe and all this anyway. You wind up cleaning the whole kitchen out, yeah? I've been doing that. I've got lots and lots of stuff out here. I've got some nice stuff and I've got some really crummy stuff, and I just want to throw out bits and pieces and, pardon me, fix up what I want in here. Loaded up a few old engines in the shed, made some more room, and there's mower stuff in there and under the house. I've pulled all that out, and I thought I'd tidy a few things up. Except I went too far. So I hope you enjoy. See what parts we've got for this 18. Couple of cows. We talked about this exhaust and all that. Bottom end's great. Thought I saw these side bits, these covers for the barrel, but I don't know where they are now. Seems I've lost them. Right. Two bases. I will have a good look at both and ascertain which one to keep. I don't want spares. I want to just put one together and then get rid of the rest of the stuff. And of course, with that box over there as well. Someone's had a crack at cleaning that up. The engine fits on both of them, I know that. I just have to check, you know how it is. And we'll have a look. That might be the original colour, that Brunswick green type colour. So I'm just going to take all these bits out of here and see what's there. So we've got one set of upper bars. We've got 4 sets of lower bars with clamps on the bottom, and there's another bunch of clamps there. 3 sets of axles. I don't know if it's front or rear yet, I haven't worked it out. 2 of the other. A drive for the auto adjuster. This is a deluxe, I believe. I don't know. There's 4. Well, one of these is just C solid. Is that one? Yeah. You know, I've got to figure out what all this stuff is. Like little bridge like that, no idea. These bar clamps, those 2 are the same. That one's different, it's got a hole in the middle. I'll just put that nut there. That's a starter pulley, which is great. And a little pull thing. There's a brass tap there, which is good, and a spark plug thing. That's good because the one on the tank is a plastic one. And these look, I think I recode the other one. You just take that grub screw out. Oops, the handle comes out, you stick some O-rings in, you're good to go. And just an assortment of donuts and all that sort of stuff. So anything with paint on, I'll get hydroblasted. I think these are all Whitworth, not sure. I'm going to try and sort of assemble what I can. I don't have another one here to look at to sort of compare it to, but we'll have a go and just see what I can come up with. I don't even know if I can be bothered doing this. The axles are all absolutely knackered. The best way to do that is just cut that off, re-drill it, weld a new axle in. It's not hard to do. It's a question as to whether or not we want to. Same on the front. That's gone. One of the back ones was really, really knackered as well. I think that goes like that. There's a bush there. Is this it? Look how thin that one is. So they're knackered. Now these are all, some of them are, that's free. Hang on a minute. Yeah. So that should bolt down, right? Oh, look at that. Woohoo! Okay, so we know that goes there. Don't know. There must be a grub screw on that gear, is there? Nope, can't even see that, but who cares? Let's just see if it works. No, that's not right. That's not right. How does it go? This one has an extension on it. I think the other one of the other ones doesn't. Hang on, let me just figure this out. That goes there, we know it don't. I think I've nutted it out now. We've got, I'll put a bit of oil in here just to top this oil can up. Bugger it. I'm just going to sort of dummy fit it together. These are buggered. But, well, they look buggered. They're probably not that bad. And we'll just dummy fit it all and see if we can get it to work. See what fasteners we need. You know, that sort of thing. And it doesn't have to be all really tight or anything. And then of course the hydro blasting will make a heck of a difference to it. As far as the axles are concerned, I'm not worried really. I think maybe the best thing to do, well, there's two ways to do it. We can just cut those off, drill them, put a bit of round rod all the way through, around the back, and then just dock the back bit off. Making sure we start with the right length, we get it centered, and we use a part, we sort of part that out with a lathe so the clip can go in. I'd almost be inclined just to use split pins and washers, but it doesn't matter. The other way is to cut them off again and turn these bits down to the right diameter, leaving it bigger at the back, and just weld it around the back. I'm not chasing originality, I couldn't care less. So, that should fit there, which it does, but which bolts do we use? One of them had bolts in it, that one had bolts. But this one doesn't fit because it's small on that side. Oh, it's the back one, hang on. I'll need to get a sample of the bolt. Just make sure this is going to fit. So I've sort of just got to figure it out. I couldn't get on the computer to look because my wife and daughter are on the computer. Right, that's going down, that's going up. Okay, that's not great. That means I've got the worm in the wrong way. So that's roughly what it's supposed to look like. Then you have your little motor that sits there, and then you've got your little friggin' this bit that goes on there, and quite a nice looking thing. I'm not a big fan of the 18s. I sort of prefer the 70s and 80s series, but it's an interesting thing all the same. The exhaust pipe. The steel-based standard model had a round sort of pancake exhaust. These ones, the deluxes, had the alloy base. The adjusters, the knob type adjuster, and also had the exhaust that shot underneath it. They're quite loud though, these things. So that's about what's left of all the 18 stuff once I've got everything I want out of it. I might use that head and leave another head there, or the cowling, that one might be slightly better. I don't know, but there's quite a bit of stuff there. Maybe somebody would want to swap and it's got these bits here, or a better axle or something like that. Doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, I don't want it because I'm trying to thin down all my junk. I started having a look at a couple of mowers, and then I thought to myself, well, at the end of a video I did, I think it was the end of 2018, I said this. So there you go. A really good runner that just had dirty points. Runs like a train. Really, really good. Very impressed. This is a model that you probably could restore. I'm not going to do it at the moment. I haven't got time for it. But the trouble with restoring mowers is at the end of it, you've just got a lovely object you can mow the lawn with. Unless you do it as garage art, which is what I would do if I was to do it. Now, I'm not talking about just doing a rattle can job. I'm talking about a proper restoration where you get parts replated, handlebars media blasted and powder coated in a nice gloss cream, and rehammering all of the tin work on it, the metal work on it. Now, the problem with doing one, there's not much on a mower. It's only a few fasteners, clamps and bits and pieces like that, is no matter what you take into a blaster, or a plater, sorry, it's going to be $65 as a minimum cost for a tub of stuff. So whether you're taking 15 parts or 250 parts, it's $65. Now, that's why it'd be more economically viable to restore 3 or 4 of these at the same time. It's the same with powder coating. By the time he puts all the new powder in his gun and starts laying it out, 3 sets of bars is going to be virtually the same price as 1. So you can see by doing 3 or 4, it's probably a quicker way. I pulled all these things apart. In fact, I went to see a lovely guy called Peter Taylor, and he had one that was a very good runner, and he had 2 spare ones, and he said, look, if you buy that one, you can have those 2 as well. So I took them. And so I thought, you know what, two of them are 160s. The silver one I bought from Norm's a 160. I've got quite a few. I think I've got 4 160s now, which is quite good. Now I'm going to go down to Bunnings and get some yellow tongue. That's what I make all my benches from, because I've got to make a couple of other benches, or put a bigger top of the one over there and put one here where the bike is. And that will give me more bench space to do this, but also to do other stuff as well. The Aldi one that I had, a good friend of mine actually rexed me to say that he wanted the air filter, and I've already given it back to the old guy over the road. But the fuel line was cracked. I went to try and get it going. The fuel line was cracked. The plugs on those things are woeful. That's the second one I've seen where the plugs failed very early. So if ever you get one of those, one of a garden mate or something, I don't know, green garden, I don't know what it's called, one of those Aldi brand mowers, just ditch the plug and put an NGK in. And what was the other thing I did? The coil. There was lint all stuck around the coil. I think it was stopping it from getting a magnetic field if the thing was turning. So I cleaned that up, put it back in, new plug, new fuel line, started up straight away. I mowed the lawn with it, and then he came out and I said, "Here, you can have it back." And well, he's already got one, so he's got a spare now. So in this one, we're sort of in the part of, or the area of the holidays where all the places are coming back, all the businesses are coming back. So tomorrow I've got to take a bunch of hydroblasting off. I'm not going to hydroblast the bases I was going to, but it's going to wind up being too expensive, and I'm trying to keep this really, really cheap. So 2 or 3 of them will have automotive paint jobs on them. So paint that I've got here, I've got a nice ceramic green, which is a BMC colour, and then we'll just put a 2-pack ISO Free Clear over the top. And there's some spare metallic blue Starly paint. Rosie wanted to make one as a tribute to the old blue car that we had, and she had an attachment to that. Of course, that went off as part of the Takata thing, and so I had to brought it back. So we'll do one in some of that paint, and some hammer tone and just stuff like that. There's 6 very good ones. There's one that's rough and ready. The base was all cracked and munted up, but I drilled the ends of the cracks, filled it in with JB Weld, gave it a very, very quick paint job, and that will become the one that I use to hack around here with. I can't say I'm awfully proud of the way this thing looks. It could be that, because it used to, I mean, the catcher worked and everything, but it had a 4-blade steel disc on it that aerodynamically probably wasn't suited. It was probably more a utility disc. And I wonder if that might have given rise to inefficient sort of catching of grass. This thing doesn't hit many stones or anything. It just looks terrible. The worst thing it hits is loads of dog's feces. That's about it. And that's pretty unpleasant, but it dries off and it's pretty benign stuff, really. But I just want to clean it out. We'll give it a quick paint job, I guess, with a rattle can. I'm not fussed really with how this thing looks, because it's just a pure workhorse. But I wanted to take the bars off this and the Mayfair and get those powder coated. They're all sort of rusty and scummy at the top, and I think it's going to benefit from that. Yeah, see, look, it's not terribly good. You can see this casting's very thin on the side, where it's been running up against walls and stuff. I don't think I did that. It sort of goes from thick to very thin. The hydroduster at the front is knackered. There's something very wrong with it. I don't know what it is yet. I'm just going to dig it out and have a look. Right, there it is. I found a crack, which is a bummer. I don't know how hard these are. This isn't as good as I thought. It's got a crack coming up there. I can see it there. We'll drill the end of it, fill it up with JB Weld. But aside from that, it doesn't look too bad. I'm just going to take it outside, get a wire wheel and a drill, just clean it up a bit and degrease it. Oh, actually, I might sweep the floor as well while I'm at it. Let's sweep the floor. Just giving this thing a quick blast with a wire wheel and a drill. Might degrease the top first. I need to mow the lawn. This is great stuff. And I've got heaps of it too. Well, I got 5 cans. So I really want to paint this again. And I'm starting to think, do I want to restore this one? Because I'm an idiot and I like doing things like that. This lovely little Mayfair. I found the nature strip. I thought to myself, you know what, I'll just get the bars powder coated, but it's surface rusted everywhere. That needs to be hydroblasted. And I'm curious about the mechanism for raising and lowering it, because it works really, really well. I want to see what the other one was missing. Where's my spray? There's my spray. I'm just going to take the cutting disc off. I haven't had anything off this before. It didn't leak then though. It appears to be in remarkably good condition. But look at the colour it's supposed to be, it's beautiful. So I'll go and see Milsom's and see if they've got Hammertone in that colour. It's just dull at the moment and I really want it to look good. Sweet. Oh, be careful to get the right BP zoom, you know, all of the right stickers and so forth for it. That's got a governor on it. A G3 type carburetor with a governor. You can get new mufflers or new, it's still got black on it, black paint. Look at that. New, what do you call it, gasket? I just think that looks great. We're missing a clip though, I don't know where that is. Motor, I think we'll take that off. It's got this really, really cool old Champion plug. If you just look in the exhaust port, you can just see how clean and the way the piston is. And it compresses so well, so you wouldn't even take that off. Just leave it be. I'm going to have to get another one of those. Mine's missing these two plastic bits. Oh. And this is in much better condition again than the one that came off mine. I'll drill those and redo that, but again I will need to have a look at the stickers and make sure I get the right kit. And these wheels, actually, I've just looked at these. Somebody might know, they look like they say P on them. I should say V, shouldn't it, Victa? Again, you know, there's people that know all this stuff, I don't. Everything about this is so clean. You know, it just doesn't look like it's had all that much use. The tread's pretty good. It's perfect. It's really, really, really good. I'll take that little sleeve off there. Little oil seal. It's just so good. It's a pity to pull it apart, really, but it just looks too shabby, you know. And there's no value in these things. You know, it doesn't matter what you do or whatever. There's only a handful of mowers that are really, really valuable. I mean, some of the early 18s and the twin cylinder one, the 500. Yeah, they're all expensive, but I actually don't have any interest in them. Not even the 18s. I'm just not into them. You know, I'm into these, and that's a bit weird, but I am. Mine was really loose and floppy. This one doesn't seem to be. It's tight. Just look at the clips. I mean, they're like, they've still got their they're still anodized. They've still got all the gold stuff on them. Two of these clips, which I didn't even know about. Mine didn't have them, and so that's why the axles were flopping around in the breeze. This hasn't been touched before. They sort of fit down, and once I figured out how to get them out, they're kind of like a W clip. Once I figured that out, it was easy. But, you know, had I not pulled this apart, I wouldn't have a clue about those things. I didn't even know about them. So it's a good thing I've done this, and we'll give it the restoration that it really deserves. I will have to drill rivets though, and I think I've got that size. The sort of ratchet mechanism and the little steel shroud bit is riveted in. There's 5 rivets. There's also a nut there for the catch, which is not a sprue. It's got a different type of spring in it, so we'll take that out. And we're nearly there. But yeah, I mean, mine was a bit dodgy when I bought it, obviously. I've no idea. Didn't know what I was doing. This has still got colour underneath it and everything. This thing, it's a bloody gem. This is a little Victa ute utility. This has all been done up. I bought it from Norm. And Norm's going to be very cross when he sees what I'm about to do to it. I'm going to pull it to bits. Unashamedly pull it to bits. Because I want to. So, I guess I'm going to take that off first. I'm going to screw it over the right side screwdriver. That might do. Hang on a minute. I said last video I was going to take the engine out and put it in the other one, but I'm kind of changing my mind about that. There's another one that I've seen, an older one, and I thought, that might be a candidate, but then it turned out it's a 125 as well. Most of them are 125s, which I thought most were 160s. How wrong was I? But it doesn't matter. I'm not really worried about it. Oh, got some juice going on there. Has he modified this one, I wonder? He was putting electronic ignitions in. Got a decompressor on it. Anyway. Here we go. Let's get underneath and have a look. I haven't been over here yet. There's a steel framed one, steel chassis. And it looks really good. You would think, actually, on a steel chassis one, you'd have to hose it off every time you use it, I reckon, because of corrosion, but grass will rust anything. Grass juice, or whatever you want to call it. Easy to sharpen those blades. I can cut fruit with those. It's a very good condition. Excellent. That's how it's got a non-genuine seal in the bottom. So someone's put a seal in it sometime in its life. They're very old. It's very difficult to sort of ascertain what was done when. Cool. Alright, the rest of it's pretty much the same. These things are like a little workhorse. You can hunker it right down. And it's nice and safe, but can you imagine having it up there and all like that? It's cool. It's really cool. And I love the fact that the mechanism's external. It's just awesome. And it's going to be absolutely beautiful when I'm done with it. And he's re-grooved the tyres. He does everything, that guy. He doesn't miss a trick. So I'll send this for blasting and get a colour match on it, I think. And we'll just do it up. You know, we'll have some fun with it. Make a nice mower, which it already is. And poor old Norm will be looking at me going, the guy's an idiot. Front axle load. It's interesting they do these orange, like body colour with the mower. There's two bushes. This is for my benefit more than yours. They're flat on the inside and round on the outside. I'm just going to pop those off and put them away in the ute box. So flat on the inside, round on the outside. And this is in impeccable condition. This is wonderful. Right, so I'm just going to take the bars and the rear axle off and we're good. Weird with this stuff because I like the low deck ones. I don't like the you know, the really high ones, like the high arch ones, if you know what I mean, the vortexes and all that sort of stuff. I'm not interested in those. The VC 125s and 160s, none of those appeal to me. Only the flat deck ones. More the aluminium framed ones than the steel ones like this. But I saw this and I just thought, that's a little cracker. I'm going to grab that. Right. Finally, take this bit off. And I've got a new mower. Hang on a minute. I'm just using a shifter. The AFS, which stands for any size. There's somewhere in between. I'm not going to tell you what that is. I'll leave that up to your imagination. Oh, this bolt's a bit difficult. Probably damaged. Shouldn't throw your tools around, right? Okay. Right, now. They have a flat washer fitted between the bracket for the axles and the deck Right, so there we go. Again, we've just got two sort of flat-ended ones with a round there. Don't know why. Not the foggiest. Now, the other thing is, it's got a plastic sleeve over the end of it, and I don't want to get powder coating done with that in situ. That should come off. Right, what have we done today? We have totally munted 3 good mowers. Well, that one wasn't so good. That was necessary to pull apart because it's cracked. And can we focus? See, I'm going to drill that. And so on and so forth. I might paint that, I might powder coat, I'm not sure. All that has to go to the powder coater, all the handlebars. May even take the handlebars for that 18 as well, because this doesn't have to be original, it's a Bitzer, right? So that's got to get blasted. I only like hydroblasting, I don't use sand, I don't use walnut, nothing. So we've got a mess, and that's indicative of what I do. It's a pile of junk. I want to hydroblast these cutting discs as well, just so I can absolutely see if there's any cracking or anything like that happening on them. And then we'll just clear them. These mowers will just be ornaments, even though they're going to be good runners. I was going to smack into that one, and then I thought if I do, I've got nothing to mow the lawn with. So, unless I try and stick juice in that Aldi thing, but that's a little cracker, that one. That looks like it's got a much better base. But that's got chrome bars on it, so they can stay. And that's a healthy runner. That was all done up as well. I'd like to keep that as orange. That's more red actually, but whatever, I want to keep it that colour. I want that in the gold. It's a beautiful gold. If you look, and here in the sun, that absolutely pops. And so rattle can hammer tone isn't going to work. The closest you can get to that, which is nowhere near it, is what I used on this cheap little engine stand I built. And that's that sort of bronzy colour, but that's not what I want. I could use it on the daily one, but I want the popping gold, and I want a green one too. I was thinking of doing a green one, but I just want to line up a few on that bench over there, just like that little crummy cheapy engine that I was looking at before. I like finished off products that look really, really nice and are operable. Of course, we still haven't finished the bikes. Still haven't finished this bike. That is another bike, of course, and that's the colour we're going to be going on the handlebars, that lovely antique white. Right, I put a couple of pairs of glasses on, and then I could really see, and this is knackered. It's totally had it. You can see it's shaved down all under here. We knew about that, but we've got to fill in that bit there. There's cracks between all of those holes that I've drilled. I didn't see them before. And all over this side, there's the one at the top there. The rest of it's not too bad, although on this side that is worn paper thin. That thing there. So, I don't know, got a choice to make here. I think there might be a crack. Is that a crack there? Oh, another one. Damn, this thing's cracked. And it's just bashed up so badly in there, so it's pretty hammered. I'm saying you can't polish a turd, but I'm going to have a go at it. I'm just going to use a Dremel to dig out the cracks a little bit. I always call this a Dremel, and it's not. It's a cheap Bunnings Zito one that came in a pack full of attachments for $39. I've had it for a few years. It's great. I always use Dremel attachments, so in particular these cut-off wheels are really, really good. And what I've done is I've actually dug out the cracks, and also I'm going to use like a JB weld in these holes here and fill them. The thing's a mess. It really is. But what do you do? We can't do anything with it. And also filling that bit there, I've just got to clean up a little bit more. Those bits here on the roof of that arch that's all worn and around the sort of top of it, I can make up on a lathe a lovely snug fitting aluminium plug that'll just sit in there, and that'll hold the axle and all that sort of stuff, even if it means modifying the outside of the wheel to fit. I'm not too fast. And those plugs there we can make out of Derwent. Wheel bushes, Derwent, all of it. I might dig that out too. So we've got Permatex steel weld. Hopefully it's alright with aluminium. I think it is. I'm just going to stick some down here. It's the same sort of thing as JB weld. So we're just using a spatula and I'm forcing it in. I've got tape on the back of these holes and we can just sand off what we don't end up needing. And the ideal thing would be to weld it properly, but I can't weld aluminium here. I can do sheet metal but not aluminium. So I'm just going to go around and fill these up and hopefully it yields a pretty good result. Alright, this is pretty messy, but it doesn't matter because we can do a sanding job on it. That's right. I think it's going to be fine. It's going to be all good. It looks pretty screwed up at the moment, but I don't really care at the moment. Another mower haul. These are from a gentleman called Peter Taylor. I met yesterday. I bought one of them. I think it was the one on the left, the Superpower, deluxe one. And he had these other two, and he said, "Oh, if you buy that, I'll throw these two in for you." Came with one catcher and he threw in a plastic cover, you can see on the catcher behind it, because I asked for one of those as well. And he just stuck it together. It was a big deal, like a combined thing. Two of these 160s, one's 125, and one has a damaged base, and also it's doing this, which is what mine was doing. I think the clip under there, yes it is, it's missing, which holds that sort of axle up. The other two are really firm, which is good, and the bases appear to be in good condition. But when they do this sort of thing, they flog out and they wear the base out. This one, the base on it, I might use this to start with, or at least try and get it going. It's missing a chunk there, but I don't know how to. It smells like it's got fuel, but it looks murky. I don't know how to. I'm very proficient with welding sheet metal, but not so much aluminium. So I wouldn't mind playing around. I can make up bosses out of aluminium for these and insert them, and weld those as well. I don't know much about these at all. I never heard them go. That's got good fuel in it. It's got a dipstick on it which shows the level. It's got like a fuel gauge type cap on it, which is quite slippy. I don't really want to start them up here because, and that's empty, that's dry. This one that says Contessa on it, made for Retrovision. The guy on eBay that sells stickers for these, I don't think he's got one like that, but I'd like one before I paint it. This is actually quite easy. I've got 4 litres of BMC ceramic green, which looks just like that colour. For a Wolseley I was going to restore, and I didn't end up doing it. So I can mix that and get a darker green, as well as keeping the original green and doing the base and something like that as well. I don't think I'll hammer tone, I'm not sure. There are some, I've seen an example of a Commodore which had a base that sort of mid-Brunswick green colour with a black lid, the same as that. I don't really sort of dig that look much, but, and this of course is gold like the Mayfair we're doing as well. This looks like a peach. Oh, it's missing that thing there, but the axle's not moving. Maybe they're just in better condition. This looks remarkable, this one. This is in really good shape. Still got the clips there, both sides. And that, it's just in really, really good condition. That's a great foundation for restoration, that one. Is that a crack? No, that's just a casting mark. Gee, that's in great shape. I'm well pleased with that. There it goes. Sounds like it wants to. But maybe it doesn't. Sort of goes. Goes a little bit. Seems that it just needs a bit of a tune, maybe the point's looking at. Not too bad. that's okay. We do have to play around with it a bit to get it to run really well, but that's pretty good. Right, well, this engine's still warm, but why don't we just break it down to absolutely nothing and do a complete resto? I feel motivated to do this. So I'm just going to blow it apart quickly. I'm not going to film it because I filmed another couple of those, and I mean, let's face it, I'm going to struggle for views. The other thing is I've got to get stickers. Now I'm not interested in that one. That's just the mower centre it was from in Moody Ponds. It's worth keeping it, but I'm not going to put it back on there. For a start, it's got the Briggs decal, so they're obviously, or the Briggs logo, they're obviously a service authorised place for them. It doesn't apply to Victa. So, you know, if it was a Rover or something and had a Briggs in it, I'd leave that there, but I'm just not going to. Having said that, some of the stickers look very hard to get, so I'll photograph them and send the photos off to that guy that has all the repro stickers and just see if I can get some stickers for it, because I'm not sure. This has also got a punch in the face here, so I've got to try and figure that out. It might be worth knocking on Peter's door again, because I know he's got a bunch of them, and just saying, we got anything straight? Anyway, we'll just see where this gets us. I'll leave the camera rolling until I take this top off and have a look underneath, and I'll show you the couple of things that I've learnt about them. I've undone the fuel hose, have I? Yeah, I think I did. Yes, I did. Alright. Okie dokie. That's reasonable under there. 160, as Norm had said, is it's a bigger barrel. It also the studs go right down into the crankcase, whereas the 125's got a flange there. That feels crummy. I'm not sure I want governors on them. I might not. Rightio, so we're still pulling bits apart. Interestingly, this is very similar to the one of the other variants that doesn't have this hood on the front of it, which I wasn't sure of. So here's a comparison. These are all the same without the hood on them, which I'd prefer to leave the hood off actually. It covers up the rear, or the rivets, so the hood's held on with the rivets, if you know what I mean, and the strap for the fuel tanks underneath. What they've done with these ones, that's exactly the same, and your holes are underneath, and your little tongue for the fuel tank retention, which I find interesting. So obviously standardised part. They're from the Mark 1 Mayfair, I found on the nature strip. So we'll pull this one off. I think I've already had this one off. I can turn it upside down because there's no fuel in it. The other thing that's different about them is on the back. That's for a 125, and that's for a 160. They're slightly different. What about inside? Yeah, it's different. Maybe it's for airflow or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, all good. That will all be. I'll get that hydro blasted. I'm not going to bother trying to clean that up. It's all pitted, so it might need a bit of body work on it. It's quite, it's quite average. Same with this. This was chrome, obviously, and it's gone. So nothing much to do with that, although I do have to photograph all these stickers. I spoke to the eBay guy who sells repro stickers for these things, and he doesn't have these ones, and he's keen to sort of get dimensions and photographs of them all, so I'll do that. But it's just a mess. This still has fuel in it. Well, I think this is the one I put the fuel in, and it's just crusty muck from 1976 or whatever. Look at that grass. So they'll all clean up. I'm not, whoops, sorry, I'll keep the camera. I'm not worried about any of this stuff, although I will. There's supposed to be a gasket there that's sort of disintegrated. But, these sorts of things can be cleaned up any time. It's pretty easy to do it. These ones are held on, they're underslung with a spring and two straps. So again, these sorts of things can be dealt with by, freshening them up and plating them. I'm not going to get too carried away because there's no value. In fact, that might even be alright to leave as it is. That might clean up fine. But it makes no difference if you put 1 or 2 bits in, or 10 or 12. It's sort of, it is what it is. So I plate this stuff because it's just easier than cleaning it, and we do, or at least I always request that they're heat treated to remove any possibility of hydrogen embrittlement. But all these bits I'm just basically throwing in a box, and you know, it's messy, sort of crappy work, but it's all good. Right, there we go. 7 mowers for 1 idiot. That's me. We'll set up a display in the garage. One of these ones, that one I've painted down there, is very, very rough. That was the one that was cracked. It's the worst base I've got. I'm going to run a reinforcement across the back. There were 2 small cracks. It's just got JB weld through it. And of course, on the sides where it was all messed up, it's still not very good, but it doesn't matter. The 2 gold ones there are mint, so is the grey one. The grey one was a 160. I thought it was a 125, but it's not. It's a 160. That one will be powder coated. The rest of these will all be painted. 2 of them will get proper automotive spray jobs on them. The Mayfair I'll do as original. Just put it back together. Not going to hydro blast bases because that would cost a fortune, and this is supposed to be dirt cheap. But I am going to hydro blast these bits because they're all sort of basically knackered. Very scaly. When I get it back, I'll actually have to probably put just a very thin skim of bog over and then rub them back and sort of bodywork them. The only reason these axles are here is because somebody's painted them, and the rest of these are getting zinced. So the zinc, the hydrochloric acid and the zinc edge bath won't remove the paint, or at least it won't remove all of it. And the same with the adjuster on that. That's not from the toe cutter, or from the utility. That was one that was sort of grafted onto one of these. I'm also going to blast these plates. That's off the Mayfair. It's just mint. One of them has a crack in it, so that's no good to use. Is that it there? That looks pretty knackered as well, that one there. Hang on. Yeah, I don't think I'll bother with that because it's got... Looks like someone's repaired that. And I don't think that is the right thing to do. So I don't think we'll bother with that one. I think we'll throw that. But the rest of them can be cleaned up, and if there's any others in a similar condition, which I can't see at the moment, or I couldn't see before I put them in, that might be another reason to abandon ship with them. Yeah. We'll see when they get back, but I'm not going to use that. It's probably okay just to dust some paint on and use it as a test flywheel, if you know what I mean. But even then, it's knackered. I don't think you can see that ridiculous pile of rusty rubbish up here. I'm just sort of stringing it all up for electroplating. And normally small stuff like this my plater doesn't like doing, but if I string it up, then they gladly dip it for me. So these are all the bolts on the mowers. They're all pretty much the same. Some are different because people have changed them over the years. But some of them I'll change out because I've got like the front axle keepers and that sort of stuff. I'll just put 1/4 inch fine there because I've got a whole box of them. But I haven't done that very well. I'm just going to try and separate them. But this isn't a difficult thing to do. It's just a bit of a pain, that's all. But you know, the time it takes, hang on love, the time it takes to do this is a lot quicker than trying to clean them all individually, and then they're still not plated and they're going to rust, so this will preserve them.
If you wanted to watch an episode of It's Always Sunny.
A dinner, you mean? When's it? Hang on, I'll just turn this off. Still a little bit of a mess. I've still got to tie this stuff up. I might replace those with fine threads, I'm not sure. I'll just see how they clean up. That stuff has to go to hydroblasting because there's paint or powder coat on it. That's an aluminium bit, so we can't put that in the plater. Those exhaust brackets I won't plate. I'll get them blasted, cleaned up, and I'll just paint them with a heat resistant paint, just like the mufflers. What else have we got? I think there's about 6 strings here. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There'll probably be another 2. There'll probably be 8 strings of stuff which needs to get plated in silver. So every nut, bolt, washer, except the ones I'm replacing, it'll all be heat treated because some of it is load bearing. But that's about it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. What do you reckon? She haven't.